The only time that the military is going to bury you is if you were killed in combat. I mean, take care of your funeral. Now, they're going to bury you. They will give you your burial space. They will give you the vault. They'll take care of the opening and closing and the morgue. But you still have to have a funeral home involved to get you to your burial space. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a plan that will take care of the expenses from the funeral home. And always ask a veteran this, and I have some forms to give you that I brought also. This is very impressive to them because this lets them know that you do know something about. Okay, thank you. That you do know something about a veteran. Ask them, do they know where their DD214 is? How many veterans do we have in the room? That's a very important piece of paper. Yes, it is. They know how important it is because it was stressed to them upon their discharge. Now, they'll say yes, and then the next question you ask them is, does your spouse or whoever is going to be responsible, do they know where it is? Because this is how, he said no, this is how important it is for her to know where it is. If she does not know where it is going to take, and the VA will tell this to the funeral home when they contact them to make your burial arrangements. It is going to take exactly 72 hours before they will get back to us on the verification of your DD214. Exactly 72 hours. Exactly. Now, in the event that they cannot find your DD214, guess what? You won't be buried there. And you did 20 years or you did 10 years, and we've seen it happen, especially with a veteran who had done 20 years. She had done 20 years in the service, and her family could not locate her DD214, nor could the VA. And she was not buried there, unfortunately. So that is a very important document. And when you can ask them that question, they're going to really respect you for that, correct? If I can ask you about your DD214 and I was never in the service, you know that I know something about the importance of that document, correct? Yes. And you have their attention then. And then you let them know that everything will be taken care of at the VA cemetery. But it is imperative for them to take care of their own funeral arrangements. And that's why you're there to help them to do that. And actually, I had a veteran, I can remember this so well because it was November the 11th, 2019. And his wife was disabled. She was the recipient of a kidney transplant. And of course, she could not work. And he was the only one working. And at first, the plan that I presented to them was out of their budget. But they both realized that they needed this. And when I found out that he was a veteran, it made it easier for me to custom it into their budget because now certain things he did not need because the VA was taking care of his burial. So always ask them about the DD214.
Okay, so I'm going to talk loud as I can. I don't want to talk about death.
I understand, and this is not a topic that most people enjoy. But believe it or not, we are all going to die. And if you sit here and talk to me today about it, you're really showing your family how much you love them. Because when that day comes, which will be the worst day of their life when they have lost you, and they're now at the funeral home, and you have taken care of this, do you know how they're going to thank you silently? They're going to thank you for doing this. And I want to share my true story with you. When my grandmother passed away, and she served a dual purpose in my life, she raised me. She had taken care of all of this. And when we left the hospital and went to her home to get her papers and went to the funeral home, I'll always remember this. And that was in 1988, so that was many years ago. But this is the impression that it left with me. When the funeral director asked if we wanted to see the casket that she had selected, and we said yes, we walked into the selection room, and to my surprise, she had chosen a blue casket. Now, if that had been left up to me, or ladies, I'll say, if that had been left up to you to choose the casket you would have either gone with a pink or a white, correct?
Correct.
Correct. And that let me know that that was her favorite color because she made her arrangements herself. And she picked that out herself. So we walked out of that casket selection room and back into the conference room. And when I sat down at that table, quietly, I just said, thank you, Mama, because I would not have known what to do. And this is the question that you're going to get from a lot of your family members. Even though we have told them about legacy, we have told them what to do on the worst day of their family's life. And that's why it's important to do this. You want to tell that family, when they receive their policy, to call you, because you want to go back and meet with the beneficiary. It's the beneficiary who needs to know what to do on the worst day of that person's life. And what is that going to lead to for you? A referral, correct? And then even more referrals. So it is important for the person who has to handle this to know what to do.
Well, I want to talk to my children first.
And we hear that. Oh, Mrs. Smith. Now you know what your children are going to say. Mama, I don't want to talk about that. Mama, what's wrong with you? You get ready. What's wrong with you, Mama? You getting ready to die or something? No. You're going to talk to your children, and they're going to discourage you because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about ever losing you, even though we know that that's going to happen, and we know that death is certain. So take and then if you don't have a story to tell my story. Tell my story of what happened with me and my grandmother. Tell that story. Tell them how important it is and what impression they're going to leave when the family knows on that day that they took care of this for them. How they relieved them of unnecessary emotional stress and unnecessary financial stress. Because let me tell you, in the 10 years that I worked at the